that I'm getting my hair ready for the day. And yes, it will probably be a braid because yes, I love to braid my hair. And yes, braiding my hair is awesome. And no, I don't ever plan on being annoyed again by whatever people suggest because when I say I'm getting my hair ready, it just means I'm getting my hair ready in my own kind of way. I don't want to do videos like anybody else on the planet, and I think this is how you make your social media healthier. You stand up and out against what everybody else is doing, okay? I know people probably think that's silly, like, why are you standing up and out against what everybody else is doing? I just don't want to replicate what other people are doing, okay? Like, I've really thought long and hard about this. I don't think social media is the problem. I think it's how people engage with social media. Because look, social media is just a modern extension of real life. It's a little bit more diverse, like you have more global voices in it. But don't you think like in a small town, people were just as nosy or like learned as much about each other? I mean, even in a big city, you're still gonna have nosy people. Like even if you just restrict your interactions to real life, you're gonna have a lot of the same reactions, like good, bad, indifferent. And I just think like, yeah, but I do think the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is, this is my take on it, is to do your own kind of social media. Like I I have some ideas for edited videos I will do in the near future, but I just don't always have time to do an edited video. And I don't necessarily think like a video being edited makes it better because I still like real live stream type stuff. Like that's kind of my thing. I'm more of an interactive person. So some things, yes, edited, but that doesn't make me think like, oh, those are the only kind of videos that are fun to watch. I like to see things happen in real time, personally. That's kind of my take. I don't have like a short attention span. I don't watch videos on fast play. I think that's kind of weird, actually, the whole idea that you have to listen to something faster than it was spoken. And like, when did people's attention spans become the size of a pea? Well, maybe they always have been. Maybe some stuff has never changed. You just have to surmount what everybody else does. Like, you know, oh, so some people only read the headline of a story. Read the whole story. Like, just go above and beyond what somebody else is doing. Like, okay, some people only do this. You go above and beyond. You surmount what they're doing, okay? You just go above and beyond every day, all the way. Like in your life, you want to do something different? Then do it. Okay, like I had actually some good experiences yesterday with long hair because yes, my hair is very long now and I wear it in a braid and people can see my hair is like cat length now because my braid's almost to my knees, like when my hair is braided. And I had a couple of people say, oh, your hair looks really neat, like you have such a thick braid. And it was kind of, one thing that was kind of funny though, I went to Walmart last night and I was looking at the vegan food section because I like to sometimes get, I ideally I would love to make everything from scratch, like, but sometimes I get the vegan pre-made, like some filler stuff for meals, which tend to have better ingredients and everything. But on days I'm working, I sometimes just get low on energy, and I have not shopped, so I needed some oranges. And I don't know what it is lately. I'm just liking the produce section at Walmart more than like when I go to the Food Plus, because I can do self checkout, and I just like doing self checkout. Like I don't have to worry about like, I don't know. I just don't really exactly love our local grocery store, to be honest. This light is flickering, like I'm not flickering, but the light is flickering. I think I need to put in a maintenance request soon. It's like an electric dance, right? Which is so funny because they just did their semi-annual maintenance like inspection, And the minute our maintenance person left, I swear this is hilarious. The lights started flickering. I'm just like, really? Why didn't the lights start flickering when he was here checking everything, like the air conditioner and the smoke detector and the lights, because they just do this. I can put in a maintenance request. It's not a problem. Just like, ugh. Then, like, it's just another thing I have to do. Maybe I should learn how to change the light myself. But then I'd have to pay for it. I'm like, if you're paying rent, they're supposed to cover those costs, you know? That's the supposed to be the benefit. Although some places where you pay rent, you have to repair things yourself. But if you live in a corporate apartment complex, they usually have pretty good maintenance. And the only thing I like about a corporate apartment complex, personally, is like you don't have a landlord that's all like, I'm not gonna fix this, because it's just a corporation that owns the complex and they don't have a personal interest in not fixing things. Because honestly, like, don't be too cheap on either end of the spectrum. Like, just fix stuff. I don't like people that take advantage of things, but just fix stuff, you know? But anyway, where I live, we have like, I don't know, I have a really good maintenance person, so I just need to ask them to come fix it. And I'll be fine. So, what was I gonna say? Yes, anyway. Anyhow, let's see. Hola, ¿cómo está? That's about all I can say. I'm not very fluent in yo habla español muy pequeña. It's very little. I don't speak a lot of Spanish. I just don't. It's hola. So when I take a shower, like my hair, I put it up in a clip. I used to do several clips, but lately I've just been doing this one clip. I need to get my other clips out because I think having all the hair in all the clips is best. Personally, I do think that's ideal. And I love like when your hair is a little damp, it makes it so much easier to start a hairstyle. I'm just like to start. And then another good thing about like not washing your hair for like 2 or 3 weeks, just another benefit I've noticed and added benefit is less detangling, less mechanical damage, and yes, your hair still gets wet. So basically my hair is getting wet in the shower, and I do like thoroughly comb it out at least every few days. So, combing your hair actually cleanses your scalp, but it's also getting wet. Like my hair is getting wet. Like my scalp gets some water in it. Because when I do a shower, take a shower, it's kind of like I'm not doing like a really intricate scalp rinse, but I just stand into the shower and parts of my scalp get wet, and then I rub some water along my hairline, and like parts of my hair get wet because I don't wear a shower cap. Like I don't see the point of a shower cap because some of the extra water in my hair helps keep my hair cleaner. Like there's a cumulative effect in addition to just combing out your hair. It helps to keep your hair cleaner, And just really like that's kind of my go-to method. And I'm just really vibing not having to. I was washing my hair way too much for my hair type. Like, because in my 20s, I started washing my hair like every other day or every 3 days. And that was really too much because when I was a kid, around the age of 9, I'd come to the conclusion on my own, because my mom used to think for her hair type that she needed to wash it every day. She believed she had to wash it. Although I think that's a little excessive, honestly. Like she has fine hair but lots of it, and she's also come to the conclusion that once a week is better. is, yes, you can train your hair up to wash it a minimum of once a week. Pretty much any hair type can. And you know what the trick is? Getting some water on your scalp and your friend the comb. Yes, the comb will help you out. So that's kind of been my trick over the years. For, you know, not having to constantly wash your hair. And, you know, major sections of my hair get wet when I take a shower anyway. But the added benefit is not tangled up completely. Like, if you wash your hair all the time, you're constantly having to tangle your hair and dry. And honestly, I don't care if my hair is wet. It's California. Like, maybe if I lived in the Midwest, this would be a problem or something, somewhere it's cold. But I like keeping my hair damp when I'm braiding it because it just gives me a little bit more control, in my opinion. I feel like it just gives me slightly more control over my hair. And I like to have gentle. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure I got my ponytail on the way that I want it. Right. I do a low ponytail, okay? There's nothing wrong with a low ponytail. Then I braid the low ponytail. It's pretty great and it works for me, and yeah. So much less tension on your head. Like, who wants to be at the top of your head? I don't, like, I might still do the space bun thing, but I don't know. I'm just like, it looks cute, but it's such a rare thing that I want to do that because it gives you such a flippin' headache. And I don't like headaches personally. Some people really don't care if they get headaches, I guess. Really getting to me. I feel like I'm in some sort of a disco because it's like flickering. Flickering. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I could be wrong, but I don't know what it is. It feels like the I don't know what it is, but I've noticed and I don't want to stereotype, but it seems like the non-American and non-European cultures, they're more appreciative of grades or something. I don't know. I've just noticed that. I could be wrong. I just the encounters I have with people from India or just other countries, they're a little bit more respectful, oh, you like to wear a braid. They're kind of cooler about it. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that. Whereas a lot of Americans would say, put your hair in a high braid, high bun. Like, yesterday I heard somebody say something to these kids that I thought was really appalling. Well, maybe most people wouldn't consider this appalling because it's just general beliefs, I guess. But this mom was telling these kids, because they do pictures outside in this park, that she needed hair extensions. And I was thinking, why does anybody need hair extensions? What about just your natural hair? And I think this is where people get body dysmorphia or just kind of any kind of dysmorphia, with any part of their body, because you're telling a young girl that she needs to put extensions in her hair. Why don't you just teach her about gentle and healthy hair care and teach her that, not everybody's gonna have hair that looks like an anime character or a character in a cartoon. It's just weird. It's like everybody's got these weird ideas. And I just thought that was really strange. Why does somebody need to do something fake for a picture? Why can't you just be yourself and make yourself look the best possible? Extensions are ridiculous. They really are. I don't think anybody needs extensions. I think people should just embrace their natural hair length and try to grow their hair long if they would like to without extensions, because extensions damage your hair in the long run, your own hair. So why damage your own hair to put something fake in it? And that's why people have body dysmorphia, because an adult's telling a teenager that they need extensions. And I feel like saying, it's none of my business, I would never go tell these people this, but I feel like saying, yeah, and you're gonna wonder if in a few years why your daughter has issues with her appearance. Really, it's just weird. And then, I just feel like if you try to just be healthy and take care of yourself in a natural way, you can achieve natural beauty. You don't need to be something you're not. And that's why everybody thinks that they need to get fake nails and fake hair, fake this and fake that. And look, if you want all that and that's what makes you happy, go for it. But I feel like it creates this fantasy that's not real. Just be yourself. You know? And shame on moms that tell a teenage daughter that she needs hair extensions. That's weird. Really? Would you tell your son that he needs hair extensions? I don't know. I'm just that doesn't seem nice to me. I think I'm gonna need to get some really small little hair ties for when I do these more intricate braids. Okay. But, and I'm gonna keep a time check, but put it on my watch. It's 8:10 right now. For some reason, usually it's so easy to put this production on. My hand feels really slippery. Okay, I can do this. Slippery. So the first braid then. I'm just gonna kind of magic. I don't even know why that song is stuck in my head, and it's not even like my favorite song, but there's something about it. It's alright, America. They have a few songs that I really like. I live through the desert, but they're very 70s kind of band. And when I was young, my mom listened to them sometimes. And there's a couple of songs that I like, but I just remember they used to have a local radio station that played a lot of 70s and 80s rock music. And I just remember that song would always kind of be stuck in my head. And it just kind of, but I kind of like the idea. You need to have magic, do have everything you heard. Have magic, do. You're the one that can put out the fire. I might be wrong. I don't know the lyrics. I'd have to look it up again, right? Yeah, I would. They're not one of my favorite band, but sometimes songs just pop in my head like that. Yeah, it's a very, I think, late 70s, no, 80s, 84. Maybe, actually, one of the later songs. But the band America is very interesting because I think they all grew up on a US military base in England. So they were culturally American, but they grew up in London, yearning for America. So they were always singing songs about the American West and things like that. I don't know, like, do I like Westerns? Not always. I like some Westerns, but I love the idea, like, of going to see ghost towns. Because that was something my dad took us to do when we were little. Like, we saw ghost towns in Death Valley. And now I've heard a lot of them are vandalized, so I'm kind of glad I got to see those things. I drew a picture of one of the cabins in the ghost town once. And the pipes sound beautiful today. Wow. I hope something's not gonna burst, because we had a water leak a year ago. I'm always like, when's the next pipe gonna burst out? It's funny because you can't really hear your neighbors, but you can hear when they turn on the shower and you can hear when they turn on appliances. Because I can't really hear anything they're saying or doing around here, but I can definitely hear the water pipes because we all have like centrally, like I think their water pipes go through this wall or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. It's all kind of centrally located because we live in one building and you share all the walls. It's like, usually that loud. That was loud. I love the contrast with like this aqua green color. I actually came up with the color for this dress because I thought I had heard like contrast like on the color wheel that look good with you. The other color would look good. So I was like, what other color would look good? And I did I know I look really good in blue red, and green I always thought was my favorite color, but I kind of like red a lot too. Like I used to have this one red polka dot dress that I just love so much, and it got ruined in the wash. Very sad day for me. So I got a new red and white polka dot dress that I really love. And when I was using photo editing one day, I said, what is the contrast of that color? And the contrast of that color was like this aqua green color. So I was like, you know what? That would be a pretty color for a new dress. So when I bought my next dress, this one, and I really should, I mean, I wish I took the time to learn how to sew, but I honestly, I don't do it. But I keep thinking, I want my mom to make me like a 1950s style type dress. I'm like, she can sew. She makes a lot of cute things when she takes the time to sew. She made this really cute little cat bag the other day. So cute. It's really, really cute. I might do a video about it on my other channel actually. It is so adorable. I love it so much. So like, yeah, that's the kind of person I am. I love cat pictures and I like to wear dresses. And I'm like into flowers and birds, which was funny that people thought I was into like other stuff, like some of the messages I just get on the Instagram thing telling me I'm into like rough hair play, like some like, yeah, buddy, you don't even know who you're talking to. Like I think you're just messaging anybody. But you know, look, I don't think that most people that message somebody with long hair that likes long hair are nefarious. I just think that there's some bad players sometimes, and like the guys that are like, I like it when people pull their hair, and then they have like, and I don't know, it's just weird videos, okay, on YouTube called hair pulling. There's ads running on this garbage, and I'm like, that's weird, and that shouldn't be on YouTube. Just my opinion. Well, it could be on YouTube, but that should actually be adult restricted. That's my opinion. But then, oh no, somebody filmed a tree. And sometimes YouTube will say, that is restricted video and cannot have ads on it because the blossoms on the tree are adult content. I'm like, the automated system obviously is a dodo because there's ads running on a video with a guy like doing hair play pulling. And it's like, it's weird. But you know, like there's a lot of people who like long hair, but there's just some things in the long hair like genre that I think are weird that are not into me. But I get it, some people are into that. Like, how do I call it? I call it like the 50 Shades of Grey genre. But I guess the long hair world has it too. And I'm like really turned off by that. I'm not into people who like to pull hair and like to get all rough housing and not treat hair nice. Because I'm like, if a guy starts telling me that they want to pull my hair, I don't think they respect what I'm doing here. Because like I'm into gentle hair care. So I finally had to take a stand on that yesterday because it's not just one person's comment. It's just a lot of comments that you get. And I don't feel offended because look, I'm over the age of 30. Like I've seen the world, okay? I know how people think. I know how these guys think. Like it's gonna take very little to offend me, okay? I've seen drunk homeless guys urinating in the bushes and shooting up heroin in a nice affluent community, okay? Because a lot of LA people ship their homeless people up here to the Inland Empire. So I'm not gonna be offended. Like I've seen things that look. In 2003, I saw a guy jacking off at the bus stop. I'm not offended. If you want to say something stupid, I just don't agree with it because I'm not that kind of person, okay? So it's not that I haven't seen those things. I just happen to think it's stupid, okay? You know, you're into your stupid hair pulling blah, blah, blah. I'm not into it. Like, there are people that are into it, and this is YouTube. This is not one of those other kind of sites. Like, so when people send me messages saying you should do videos like that, I'm like, no. And then just like the other thing, like people, like I don't know, like that's what I was kind of responding to yesterday, like the whole idea that people like to pull their hair, and I just think it's weird. And I'm like, obviously they're not worried about damaging their hair, or maybe they're wearing a whole heck of a lot of hair extensions, so they don't really care. And they're damaging their hair follicles in the long run anyway. So it's kind of dumb to me. It's dumb. Like, why don't you respect yourself more? Like, I don't think pulling somebody's hair it's fun and exciting. I think it's kind of stupid. Like, that's my opinion of it, okay? That's my opinion of the whole enchilada. So I'm not offended by you or your, like, I'm not offended by a guy that wants to message me on Instagram. I don't care. I'm over 30. I've seen it all, okay? I'm a single woman. I've seen a lot of things. You're not gonna offend me. I just think if that's how you're living your life, there are sites that cater to that, and that's not me. So I'm just like, whatever, go have fun in the sun somewhere else. Why don't you like things that are a little bit more uplifting? Maybe you like those things because that's who you are, but that's not who I am. So a lot of people on the internet will, like, I'm not gonna be offended because somebody likes something, okay? I'm just like gonna think it's dumb. That's it. I'm gonna be like, okay, like, boys were doing that in ninth grade. You're obviously still doing that. Like the ninth grade boys that write a young substitute teacher love letters because they don't want to do their classwork. And the substitute teacher's just gonna leave it for your teacher. So you look kind of silly, right? Like, oh, you were playing around when your teacher was gone. Like, it's just weird because, like, boys do weird things when they're teenagers, but then some boys grow up to be men and they have not evolved and they're not into, like, having something that's a little bit more uplifting in their life. That's okay. I mean, there are communities that cater to these type of thought processes. I just don't cater to it. So that's what yesterday's video was about. It wasn't just about one person. Like, yes, I just was addressing I'm not into doing hairstyles that damage, but I was also talking about some of the messages. Like, just I get a variety of messages, but the ones that I just think are the weirdest are the ones that make an assumption that, hey, I would like to have my hair pulled. I don't know, like, what? I don't know. Maybe somebody gets excited when they see that. They're like, oh my gosh. But they're, like, I don't know. They probably don't have, like, a good relationship with a woman if they're sending various women on the internet messages about hair pulling. Or they're going behind their wife's back or something. I don't know. I don't even care. It's just kind of funny. I'm just like, hair pulling and the hair cutting, long hair fetish things. I think there's something wrong with liking long hair. Like, I didn't get offended when the guy in Walmart told me I had pretty long hair. That didn't offend me. Like, if you're respectful about it and you're cool about it, I don't care because there's a lot of mainstream things that I think are kind of accepted that are much more risque, like women flaunting themselves in, like, really micro bikinis and mid and speedos, but yet people worry that some guy says I like long hair, or they worry that somebody says, oh, don't cut your hair because they like long hair. Like, I don't know, that's just their opinion. Like, let it go. All you have to say is I want to cut my hair. If you're gonna cut your hair, if you want to grow your hair, just like I say to the women who thought I needed to cut my hair, I'd be like, I don't want to do that. So that's it. But yeah, I realize I have a very different view on these things than a lot of people, I just do. I've seen it all. Like, I haven't seen everything. But when you're a pedestrian, when you don't drive, you do take public transit, and you see people do some weird things. Yes, you do. And you just are like, okay, well, you might say that, but I've seen weird things too. I just think all I think is after a certain age, if you're acting like that, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you need to grow up. That's probably all I think about that, really. I mean, I think that's gonna be like my majority opinion about people doing those things. Yeah, they need to grow up just a little bit. Just a little. It might do you some good to acquire more life skills, maybe to, I don't know, realize that there's nothing wrong with liking something. It's just like, I don't like things that kind of have like a violent twist to them. I like cute and happy things. I don't, look, I like to study about history. I love reading stories about World War I and World War II because I don't know, there's just something about that era and how people came together and they worked hard, and just like the values of that time period. Like I really do love 1940s, 50s style. I think it's cute. It's vintage, and I like that. But what I don't really like is like I don't need to see the gruesome side of things all the time. You know, I don't need to watch footage of the Battle of Tarawa every 5 minutes. Like no, that I can live without. You know, I don't want to see that. But I like the stories, things like that. I'm reading more history. I'm reading a book about Istanbul. Very fascinating. Oh yes. Like I do have a little bit of an obsession with Turkey. Well, that used to be the center of the Ottoman Empire. You know, I'm part Syrian, so anything in the Middle East just kind of perks up my attention span a bit. And this book about Istanbul is very fascinating, going back to the Byzantine era. Oh yes. See how I shift gears like that? Somebody once said, "How do you shift gears like that?" I'm like, I don't know. I just do. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I'm always gonna shift gears. Hopefully, you learn how to shift along. And I'm also thinking about, gosh, what is this again? Okay, this is so random. I think I want to make a video about this on my other channel. I mean, I'm not a fan of Gordon Ramsay, but I thought it might be kind of fun. I don't know, it might be outdated by the time I finally get around to it because I've been so busy. But what I want to do is talk about how vegans should stop making Gordon Ramsay's eggplant steak dish and they should make this. And I'm thinking I want to make a video about that because I don't understand why people keep trying the Gordon Ramsay. Like Gordon Ramsay obviously doesn't care about vegans. Culinarily, yes, I'm a vegan in general. I like to use vegan products. That's just how I roll, okay? That's how I roll. Um, I don't really care if other people eat meat. It's just not what I want to do. I'm happier. Like, look, my mom has been vegetarian since 1974. Okay? So I grew up with a mom who wanted us to be vegetarian. And as a kid, I was like, I want to eat chicken and I want to eat hamburgers when I grow up. Not that I ate lots of chicken or anything, but I wanted that. And my mom, like when we used to go to a pizza place, she thought it was disgusting to get meat on a pizza. Like that is, you know, a lot of kids are like, they want to become vegetarian or vegan and their parents are trying to make them eat meat. I had the opposite experience. Like my mom grew up in rural Kansas and they had to slaughter chickens every day. And by the time she was like 12 or 13, she wanted to be a vegetarian because she said it just made her so sad. So, yes, you can grow up eating meat and grow conscious about it. Like a lot of people have become vegetarians. Like there's a lot of vegetarians in India. Now, vegan is a little bit newer, it's a little bit harder to pull off. I'm thinking before like 1980, it was pretty hard to be vegan because you know my mom actually tried to be vegan when I was a baby until I was 5, but she said it was very hard back then because you basically just ate beans, rice, tofu. There were no ready-made like vegan anything back then. Like you had to cook it all from scratch. She used to make this really good like tofu thing. It was really good, like tofu gravy mashed potato thing. So much better than that stupid thing that Gordon Ramsay's making. And everybody's like, "Oh wow, I want to eat that thing that Gordon Ramsay made or try it." And I'm like, Gordon Ramsay doesn't even like vegans. He's just doing a clickbait video, and he's probably doing that video because he knows like vegans will watch it. But maybe like I feel like that recipe was a joke. Okay, he wasn't gonna eat that. Do you think he's gonna eat like a petrified eggplant steak? A lot of people don't like eggplant. I guess they say it has a bitter flavor. I don't know. I really like eggplant, and Yes, the Asian eggplants do taste better, but they're not as easy to find unless you go to an Asian market. And the aubergines that we tend to have in the US tend to be the bigger ones. So I don't know. Some vegetables have more of a bitter taste. If I could get my hand on the Asian eggplants more often, yeah, I'd buy them and try and make the baba ganoush with that. So when Gordon Ramsay seared that eggplant, I just wanted to say, why don't you try making baba ganoush? But I don't exactly do it traditionally. So okay, I'm part Syrian, but growing up, on my dad's side, his grandma was the one who was Syrian, and I never really met her. I got a beautiful train set, like wooden train from her when I was little, but I never got to meet her, so I didn't have like that experience of somebody who knew how to make Syrian dishes. My grandfather was the Syrian one, and the only thing he knew how um, to make was vidra, the lentils and rice. That was it. Like he knew how to make that. And I had to ask my dad, like, what are some of the things that your grandma made? And it seemed like he actually remembered more than his dad did because he used to run away. He was a naughty, naughty little boy. When his dad got mad at him, he ran away to his Syrian grandma's house. And oh, your Syrian grandma will spoil you. Like, you don't want to listen to your dad. You'll run away and your grandma will make you hummus, or whatever dish, or kibbe. She'll make you kibbe. And it's all right. You can be a bad boy. You get food for it. So, yeah. And my grandpa told me this interesting story. He said, your dad was a bad boy. He would not listen to me, and my mom undermined my authority. And I'm like, oh, so you're explaining to me like the little tip you had with my dad, I see. And I was like, I know he really looked at Syrian grandma a lot because one of my earliest memories when I was 4 years old was my dad saying, we are Syrian. Well, I'm not fully Syrian, I'm part Syrian, but he just, back then, he thought about Syrian culture and food a lot because of his grandma. And that was something he told me all the time. And I don't know, my dad wasn't the most interactive person, but the story he told me a lot about was like Beatles music and Syrian food. So those things stuck in my head, okay? So after that, I wanted to know more about Syrian cooking. So Syrian Lebanese, it's interesting because my dad's family, I think originally they were in Lebanon, is what I found out later on. So it's a little bit more Lebanese culturally than Syrian because they're like a Christian group of people. And when I did my 23andMe result, times 837, it like would the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, or Rashia, Lebanon, that seems to be where they lived. Lebanon, really. My last name Hannah is very, very common in Lebanon. Like it's super common. It's kind of like the smooth Lebanon, Anyhow, yeah. So my dad, he just loves Syrian food, but man, they don't know everything about cooking. So I started looking up recipes, and I became obsessed with baba ganoush, which is the roasted eggplant, because we used to go. Okay, my friend used to take me. I think it was just like a Middle Eastern restaurant. Maybe they were Palestinian. I think I don't know, like the origin of the family that owned the restaurant. I think they might have been Palestinian. I could be wrong, but oh my god, they had the best like hummus and baklava and like baba ganoush. It was really good, and I became so obsessed with it, and I wanted to learn how to make baba ganoush. So I looked it up like back in 2001 so I could learn how to make the recipe. But the one thing I never agreed with, and I know it's not traditional and people will probably think this is heresy, is wasting any part of a vegetable. Because if you're gonna roast that eggplant, the roasted, like seared skin of the eggplant needs to be pureed in the baba ganoush. Like to me, that's what gives it like that smoky, yummy flavor. And that's how I make like a non-traditional baba ganoush. But you know what? There's all sorts of fusion cuisine, and I've always done it that way. I don't scoop out the insides. I love to use the skin because I consider it heresy to waste any part of a fruit or vegetable that's edible. Like, it's to me, that's heresy. Don't do that. Like, there's nutrients in the skin anyway. why. And it's got that smoky flavor you want. And it bulks up and I use the seeds, I use the whole enchilada. I use tahini and the whole thing, and some people are like, that's probably not authentic, but you know what? It's a fusion cuisine, okay? I just do what I want to do with it. So I use the whole roasted eggplant. I don't eat the stem part. I do discard that. But just like with broccoli, I use the whole thing, stem and florets, the whole thing. Like I don't waste. I hate wasting. So I've done a like baba ganoush recipe before, but I've never done like a really thought out tutorial. So my thought is, this is my thought. Like all these vegans are saying like that they want to try Gordon Ramsay's like eggplant steak, and I just thought when he was roasting the eggplant, wouldn't it be better to like turn it into baba ganoush? And then some people roasted the eggplant, they're like, oh, it was all goopy, and I'm like, I hope I didn't waste an eggplant just because it was a little like goopy, because you could have pureed it into a lovely baba ganoush. Like, but maybe people just don't like worry about wasting vegetables. Like I have extreme guilt, and this comes from my dad again. He did not, and I don't know, maybe this is just a Midwestern thing, or people who grew up with parents that grew up during the Great Depression. You ate everything on your plate. You did not waste food. Like, no sorry bobber. Like, that's so funny. One time, my sister was having a birthday party for her daughter, and there were some little kids over, and we were kind of annoyed that they were wasting food, and my dad's like, don't waste food. And this little girl's like, why not? Because, you know, nowadays, I don't know how people, but in my day, you had to eat everything on your plate. It wasn't like an option. You didn't get to waste your food. You didn't get to play around with it. You ate everything on your plate. Although I was very lucky. I grew up in a very vegetable-centric household, so maybe what was on my plate was more tasty. Like, I just don't get it. Like, people who, like a lot of people say that they eat a lot of meat, and I guess they really do mean they eat a lot of meat. Their whole plate's filled with meat. Like, that sounds so disgusting to me. I'm like, I don't know. It just does not sound good. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people don't like it. When I say this, people say, oh, well, you're really lucky. You don't get sick that often. Like, maybe it's your genetics. I don't know about that. Because I think, yeah, genetically, some people are luckier and they don't get sick that often. But, you know, I have relatives who have the same DNA as me, and they tend to get sick more often, and they eat more of a westernized, like fast foody diet, more meat centric. And I guess like it's not popular to say, but I truly believe that eating a very vegetable centric diet with fruits, yes, with carbohydrate fruits and fats, has been the thing that has helped me stay healthy all the time. Like I really attribute a lot to that, and I believe in that. So I'm not gonna lie to you, like about my beliefs in food. Like I am vegan for my health, okay? I'm vegetable centric for my health. Like I keep wanting to eat more and more vegetables every day because I know when I eat vegetables, I feel better. So yeah, veggies are good for you. And anybody who thinks they're not, I don't know, like whatever, they don't have to eat vegetables, but I have done very well with a vegetable centric diet. And I feel like, yeah, eating veggies has been the key to like not always getting sick all the time. I'm rarely sick. I'm not saying like, okay, I'm not gonna be one of those Lulus who says, oh, if you eat vegetables, you're not gonna get COVID-19. Because yes, vegans can get it too. It's a respiratory illness that can be passed through the air. But eating healthier can mitigate some of the health issues. Like, you know, if you're eating a healthy, balanced diet, you're gonna be in a better place than somebody who is just eating garbage. And even I think sometimes, like, I know there's times that I can refine my diet and make it better. And I don't agree with people who say that sugar is always the problem, because it's not really sugar. I think it's eating too much meat and eating too many just like junky things that are refined. Like, I think those two, like, I know some people, they swear that they eat a lot of meat, that's good for their health, whatever. Maybe like it really does work for some people, but I don't come from that camp. And I just find meat consumption or meat preparation disgusting to me. I don't want to make meat. I don't want to have meat in my fridge. I find it gross. Like, I don't think that's tasty and yummy. Like vegetables are. Like, why don't you like a vegetable? Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you eat a vegetable? Like, really? You're that scared of vegetables? Like, I don't know. That's my take on it. I'm never gonna be like the pro meat faction. I think fiber's good. Like, people have eaten vegetables for centuries. They've eaten, I mean, although I want to say I think fewer carbohydrates are better, but there's nothing wrong with eating sweet fruit. It's really good for you. Your mind functions in glycogen. I know, like if I'm feeling down, you eat a banana, you're gonna feel better, okay? You're just going to. Do you want a mental boost or do you just want to feel lethargic? And a meat-centered diet, like to me, doesn't sound tasty, and I'm all about the yummy and tasty, and that sounds not good to me. And when I went vegan, my hair started growing, and when I'm really like purist and just making everything from scratch, my energy levels like kind of soar high in the sky. And it's not about weight to me. Like some people think it's all about weight. They equate health with like being super slim, but I don't know. I don't. I think it's with eating balanced and healthy. Because a lot of people are very obsessed with like, oh, I want to lose this weight, and then they cut a lot of micronutrients out of their diet, and I feel like crap. I don't want to feel like crap ever. Like to me, feeling good at all times is much more important than that. But you know, hey, yeah, I lost a lot of weight when I was being more strict in my vegan like regimen, and that's probably ideal to eat much more strict like I did at one time. I was just making everything from scratch, and I really need to go back to that. You know, I try, but I'm going to need to do it. So I think I'm gonna go buy some onions tonight, some potatoes, some more fruits, because I want to make fruit and vegetables the basis. Like I mean, it still is, but just more fruit and vegetables on that level. That's what I want. Let's see. I think that's about this long as the other side. Just really concentrate on this brain. From the top, I kind of want to smooth my hair down a bit. Water is great for smoothing down the top of your hair. You don't need pomade or like hairspray or any of that. Water and oil, my friends. Go natural. Water and oil, my friends. Be natural with your hair. Like, stop putting crap in your hair. The no crap in your, like, I don't know. I probably sound harsh. Some people love hairspray. I just don't want to glue my hair follicles together personally. I love natural hair care. Like, it might not be 100% natural, but it's much more natural than like spraying a whole bunch of hairspray in your hair just to achieve a certain look that's not good for your hair. Like, the whole obsession with like hairspray, I think, like, why don't people embrace like their wavy or curly texture? Oh, okay, some of your hair like is a little wavy and sticks on top. Embrace it. Like, stop trying to be something you're not. Like, I'm just like, why don't people love their hair more, or who they are more? Like, I don't want to alter the way I look just to create an aesthetic that's not really my hairstyle, you know? I don't know. My take on it. Everybody's got very different takes on this topic, I suppose. That's another song that's been stuck in my hair. It was a good time for goodbye, Sarah. Have a little one. Some people were the other day, I got a comment like, oh, what are all the pink hair tags for anything? I usually, when I do multi-strand braids, I use the little black ones so they don't show up in my hair as much. But I thought the pink one would be fun and pop kind of with the skirt because I was wearing an embroidered skirt that had some pink accents in it. By the way, I love wearing skirts and dresses. That's kind of part of my Grape Jelly Jam style. I love it. Like, that's what it always been one of my things. from a young age, I always wanted to wear skirts and dresses when other women wanted to wear jeans. And that was another thing I always got criticized on. Like, there's nothing wrong with wearing jeans. I just, skirts are kind of my style. And then if I'm gonna wear pants, I want to wear leggings. I don't know. I find they're more comfortable. They're stretchy. That's just what I like personally. But I always got a lot of comments like, "What? Why are you wearing that?" But I always knew what I liked from a young age. But if you wear something or you style your hair in a way that deviates from what is acceptable or just the norm, people are like, well, like they start asking like, why do you do that? I don't have a favorite one because I just wear a lot of different skirts lately, and it depends on my mood, I guess. Like, I don't really have a favorite at the moment. I just have things I like to wear, and I like some outfits better than others, but no favorite really. I kind of think that pencil skirts and shirts look a little bit better on me. I don't know. I like flowy skirts. Like, I like the idea of them. I think they're pretty, but I don't. I don't know. Like, I feel like something a little bit more form fitting shows off my figure better. But that's kind of just my take on it. So we're gonna make like a four strand braid. I haven't really done one of these before. It's just something I've been thinking about doing, and I thought it would be easier to do it honestly if I had it like a braid, four braids, and did the four strand braid. That was just kind of my thought process. Because I don't want to like I've seen people do these tutorials where they do a four strand braid and they're like holding like all the different strands in their hand and their mouth, and that just would annoy me. Like, I don't I like to just have things where I feel they're controlled more. That's another reason. To be honest with you, I'm kind of glad I don't try to French braid anyway. This is my take on the French braiding thing. I think after a certain length, it's not healthy for your hair follicles. Like, maybe you can, maybe some people with like beyond knee length hair can French braid easily. But honestly, when my hair was shorter, like it just never felt easy, and I don't feel like I want to keep practicing that hairstyle because it just would tangle up your hair so much. And people are like, well, you just need to keep practicing. But I'm like, why do I want to keep practicing something that I feel can make my hair tangly? I don't know. I don't. I'm just more for practical. Like, I feel like you can get the same beauty out of a control braid that you get out of a French braid, you know? And even if I had somebody French braid my hair, I feel like I'd want them to be careful. Like, I know my mom, like, I don't see my mom anymore really because she's hardcore quarantining due to COVID. Like, and yeah, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, you guys, why you guys have decided to be so hardcore in your COVID-19 quarantine thing. Like, I don't think it has to be that hardcore. I feel like at this point we could have seen them once or twice, but hey, they have decided what they want to do with their lives, so I'm not going to force them to do something differently. So, over, under, over. Over, under, over. Under, over, under. Over, under, over. 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 Over, right here, under, over. Over, over, under, over. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. Over, over, under, over. I think I'm one iteration didn't get quite right. Okay. So over, under, over. I think that one wasn't quite right. Over, under, over. Reminds me of that one. Okay. That one iteration. No. Interesting. Okay, let's try it again. Over, under, over. 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 Over. Interesting, brave. Very interesting. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. under, over. Might not be quite right, but it's interesting. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. Over, under, over. I don't know what I think about it. Maybe I'm gonna kind of hang off at this section right here. Bring the hairs down. Yeah, I think maybe my idea of having multiple braids in a 4-strand braid, 3 I can definitely control. I feel like I have so much control over that. Now 4, I don't know. It's kind of different. It's not really my great jelly jam, to be honest. It looks like I kind of just twisted my hair around into a spirally concoction. It's interesting. Maybe we'll do the bottom part. You do it. I don't know. Just we'll redo the ends. How about that? It's not lying flat. Like, I know there's a way you can definitely do a multi-strand braid where it's much more correct than this. Like, I'm not saying this is correct, but this is another reason I don't do hair tutorials, because I'm like, yeah, I don't do a lot of these kind of braids, and then you have the negative Nelly, so they're like, but it doesn't look the way that other people did it. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just trying something new. I don't think I'm ever gonna flip my braid. I kind of thought about that. I'm like, there's no point. Like, let's just do regular hair. People don't really flip their hair in real life, so yeah, I'm probably not gonna do that. I mean, I've done hair flips. If you want to see a hair flip, I did them a couple times on my channel just to try it out. But I'm like, I don't flip my hair, so I don't think that's gonna happen. You should go look for the hair flips I have done if you want to see what my hair looks like. It just doesn't feel. Because I thought about it, I've been thinking, like, why am I not doing a hair flip? I'm like, well, because it's not something people do. Like, people don't, I don't know. I just really want to be, like, authentic. Like, my authenticity desire is just on overdrive right now. Like, I just want to kind of get the ends unbraided so I can do it in a different kind of braid, because I don't want to leave this much of my hair unbraided. This is so interesting. Some of the iterations got kind of wonky. Yeah, some of the iterations, it's made it kind of maybe a little more pokey out than I wanted, but it's fine. This is at this point. It is what it is, what it is. Right here. I feel like it's too twisty, the hair hurts. Like, you know what? If I feel like it's gonna hurt my hair, I can just get rid of the hair tie. If I buy a hair tie, I feel like it won't. It's twisting around my hair too much. need to keep hair tie that bad. Like if a hair tie gets tangled up, just get rid of the hair tie. Don't be so precious about hair ties. Like you can buy more hair ties in the store. But I was thinking maybe I could try and do before strand braid at the ends of my hair. I don't know. Like this is all an experiment. I feel like I'm not gonna be happy later in the day because I can see already that it's gonna make my hair poke out and be a little more frizzy than I desire and like. I don't think I'm gonna be happy with this hairstyle today because I like hairstyles that last a day, and I'm not gonna take it down. You know, I don't take down my hairstyles. I'm like, why do people do that? Stick to a hairstyle, please. Don't keep changing your hair every 5 minutes. I'm just like, oh, that's my thing. I will not. Like, I don't want to. Like, I don't get it. Like, what's the point of doing your hair if you're not going to be happy with it for the whole day, like the whole enchilada day, right? Yeah, this is a little bit more. Okay, the thing about this 4-strand braid is interesting that I don't like how frizzy it's gonna make my hair later on. I just don't like that. No, 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 no. Yeah, I guess you would need to practice the 4-strand braid more, but then the negative Nellies are gonna be like, oh, but you can practice and like you can practice lots. And I'm like, yes, you can, but I like things that are just I'm not saying I can't practice it. I just don't think it seems like a 4-strand braid is kind of braid that would be better loose hair, and then you have to really hold all the hairs, and I don't really like hairstyles where you have to hold everything real taut. I just like simple braids, you know? Braids that are super simple. Now I'm in with 5 strands. That's weird. I can easily give up if it doesn't give me the sleek look that I like, and it's something you would have to practice a lot. Nah, not that worth it. I'm not that into it. It looks nice on other people, but I'm like, I don't want things that like it feels like a tangle fest, you know? Tangle fest. And I don't like tangles that much. Like it just seems like there's too much air for like tangling. You have to keep holding things, and I know you probably could get it. I've done like the fishtail braid, but it's fewer strands you have to hold. Yeah, I guess I can try again. Just like now that I've tried this, I'm like, you know, multi-strand braids look pretty, but I think I just really like a plain old 3-strand braid. This is why I love 3-strand braids so much. I just you don't have to mess with anything, and you are mitigating tangles. Like I'm all about not having tangles in your hair because I feel like this just tangles your hair up. Tingles are bad for people. I don't think this is good for your hair. That's just my opinion. Okay, now I'm kind of getting the look-see of what the force trend rate is. It's interesting. It kind of creates more of a 3D braiding effect. So maybe the iterations were not wrong in this braid. Maybe that's just the way it's supposed to look. Because honestly, this is just my first attempt at force trend braiding ever. Never attempted this previously. Ooh, I don't like, okay. After a certain point, it just is tingling too much. I don't like that. It starts tingling. Just like, stop tingling! Do not tingle! We don't like tangles around here. We're the anti-tangle club. I'm just very picky if anything tangles. It's weird. Oh my god, I like you. Okay, maybe if I do this a few times, I'll get more to where I like it. But I really feel like you have to practice this before you be happy with it. Like a lot of times. I feel like you really have to be practicing this hairstyle quite a few times before you would have satisfaction with it. But I feel like at that point, you're near the ends of your hair. It is what it is. So just like end it. Like, there. It's a long braid. Like, but that's my attempt at force strand braiding. And I know some people are probably gonna be like, but like you could practice more and it could look so much better. And I'm like, I'm sure it can. I'm sure it can look impeccable. And there's a lot of people that do tutorials on how to do the force strand braid. I just started watching one. And to be quite frank, I'm not sure. Like, it kind of twisted around. It's probably not exactly what a force strand braid is supposed to exactly look like. I mean, it kind of looks like it, but it kind of looks more twisty than it. Just interesting. But you know, it's an interesting braid. Okay, So now I have my hair in a braid that I don't entirely love. I tried something different, and this is why I hate trying new hairstyles because I know what I like, and I'm just not one of those people that likes investigating new things. So I try, but like to me, it's just more important to do what you like. And I guess if you really try doing the 4-strand braid, you can perfect it, but I don't love it. So anyway, just my take on that.